Okay, welcome back. Did you find some good facts? Typically, during our water bottle experiment, we'll find people will say things like, well, the bottle's made of plastic and the bottle's clear. The cap is white. The bottle has a label on it. Some people will say the water is pure. But typically the comment, the water is pure, draws some question. And that might be something you'd put a percentage rating against. What's the probability that the water really is clear? And sometimes things come up that people are uncertain about. We think this is made of a certain type of plastic, but we don't know which one. Now you can start a work plan. One of the team projects after the ideation session is go find out what kind of plastic it is. So we're going to move on to the next hat. Before we do, we like to put in a few quotes. We like this one. Again, one of the most important things is not just to obtain the facts, but discover new ways to think about them, thus the 6 hats. Our next hat is the red hat. This hat remembers emotion, anger, feelings, intuition. It can be hunches, it can be opinion. It's the total opposite of fact. In fact, we'll say here, never justify the logic during red hat. Because if you validate your feelings, the next person may not want to express their feelings. So unique and unusual ideas emerge. And unfortunately, if we didn't talk about our emotions, they might lurk in the background. There might be hard feelings between team members. There might be people that don't want to work on the project for some unknown hidden reason. Perhaps they had a bad experience with the product in the past. Sometimes customers, we also like to leverage emotion. If our customers are attracted to our product because it's really cool, they can't tell you why, but it just seems they like our product because it's really cool, that's something we can sell. So red hat's important. Here's a simple technique, particularly for engineers. This is an important exercise. Typically, engineers will try to dismiss emotions. And in this technique, you would actually force yourself, you think about whatever emotion you're sensing at the time, not just sense it, but notice that sensation and hold on to it. Don't dismiss it. Don't push it aside. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Finally, articulate your feelings. Say why you feel the way you do. Maybe you're not even sure, or at least say what you're feeling. Many times we find that if we hold on to these emotions and ideas, emotions and feelings, new ideas will emerge. All right, let's go after our water bottle problem. You can pause the presentation here and go think about water bottles. Again, 7 or 8 minutes might be good here. One method that's easy to use, go around the table, each person express some emotion. Once everyone's had a chance to say any number of emotions, or if you run out of things to say, just say pass. Once everyone's passed, you've got generally a pretty nice list of emotions. So I'll pause here. Welcome back. How'd your session go? Hopefully you've got some great emotions out about water bottles, and you might be wondering, well, what possible emotions could there be about water bottles? And yeah, we find from our workshops, we find quite a few. Some of the typical things that we hear, oh, I just hate it when my water bottle gets mixed up with someone else's water bottle and I don't know which one is mine. Or we might have someone say, oh, it just makes me feel great to know I'm drinking pure, clear water. We've had other people get angry. I don't like this water bottle because they're taking it out of the ground and they're shipping the water somewhere else. It should be left in the ground where it's supposed to be. All kinds of emotions emerge, and these are emotions that our customers will feel as well. So one thing to keep in mind here, don't confuse facts with problems. Facts are also beliefs, right? Facts are what we believe to be so. So make sure you challenge the facts and be sure that you have the facts in line and that they're not just emotion. So one technique you might do, try a little experiment this week. Every time you hear or find yourself using the word problem, rephrase the sentence saying, "This is what we believe is so." And then you begin to challenge those beliefs, and you might find that perhaps what you thought were facts really were emotion. All right, the next hat, the optimism hat. We're going to be positive. We're going to be constructive. We're going to have good things to say about our opportunity here with our water bottle. Even though it's a challenging market, we think the challenges lead us to unique opportunities. Now, this time, unlike the red hat, the yellow hat statement must be supported with logic and reasoning. Otherwise, it's just another red hat. So if you say you're optimistic, you need to tell us why. So the spectrum, you can be optimistic about the initial vision of our product, or it could be an extension, a branch. This project could lead to some other greater, bigger things. Typically, our participants have difficulty with yellow hats, so here's a sample. Here's a nice little checklist you might use. If we solve the problem, then these following good things will occur. Customers will see the benefits of our product. Here's some more. There may be internal benefits to our company. Some internal customers may realize benefits. It might even improve our image. And in fact, the solution may promote our vision of the future in other ways. So I'm going to pause the presentation now. It's time for you to take an optimistic view of our water bottle problem. Think about this. If you solve this water bottle problem, what becomes possible for you? What becomes possible for your team, your company, or in the bigger picture, perhaps the community? So I'll pause here. You might take 8 to 10 minutes, and let's be optimistic. Let's go solve this problem. Well, welcome back. How are your yellow hat ideas? Some of the typical things we hear our participants say after the yellow hat, well, if we solve this problem, perhaps we become a bottling company. Or if our team solves this problem, perhaps our company recognizes us as the problem solvers and we get promoted. Or perhaps if we figure out a way to manage this liquid in a different way, our company can manage other liquids. And so by thinking, again, way forward and optimistically, we can come up with other alternatives for our product. In fact, may generate some new ideas. Well, speaking of ideas, it's time for green hat. Remember green hat? The green pastures, the green fields. We can roll in the grass. We can go any direction we wish. New ideas, creativity. Look for alternatives. And perhaps most importantly, explore new ideas and build on others' ideas. During green hat, everyone is expected to either come up with ideas or remain silent. Black hat, yellow hat, off limits. Don't sit there and say, that's a dumb idea. Don't critique an idea. And don't even say, that's a great idea. It's not time for that. We find that if we can suspend judgment of ideas, more ideas get generated, people build on each other's ideas, and there's going to be time later on. We're going to come to black hat next, and you'll have an opportunity to be critical, but not now. Now's the time to generate ideas. Here's a simple method. We call this one random association. You can do this with just text, or here's a case where we've actually used a technique called brain writing. Select some object at random. In this case, we selected a toaster. We combine it with our object that we were trying to improve in this case, which was a wheelchair. And this is a real suggestion that came from one of our student teams. If they thought, as they were thinking about toasters, they thought about how the toast pops up. When they combined that with the wheelchair, they came up with the idea, well, why don't we have this foot pump and we use this pedal to pump energy into the wheels. And now when the caregiver is not there to push the wheelchair, the user of the chair can release some of that energy and make it easier for them to push the wheelchair around. Seemed like a great idea. So that's a method you might use. Time for the water bottle. We'll pause once again here. Now you may take 10 or 15 minutes. A simple technique to use, if you could use the brain writing, random association, or what we like to do, have one person put an idea out on the table. The next person must build on that idea or pass. You continue to build on the first idea until everyone's passed. Then the next person gets to put their idea on the table, and you build and build until everyone passes. In this way, we build on each other's ideas, we generate stronger ideas, and we improve team morale. Frequently during this phase, fun breaks out. You get some pretty crazy ideas, and that's okay. Wild and crazy thinking is encouraged. So we'll pause here and let you have a chance to think about great ideas for a water bottle. Welcome back to the presentation. So how'd it go? Get some good ideas? Some of the ideas that have come up from groups in the past. One of them was tether the cap to the bottle so I don't lose it. I can recap my bottle easily. Another one, make the label a scratch-off label so I can scratch my initials into the label. That way I always know which one is mine. We've also heard of the blister type bottle where you could pop the blister labels and you can identify which bottle is yours as well. Did you have those ideas on your list? Finally, the black hat, the one we're most comfortable with. We've saved this one for last. It's an important hat. It's not bad. It stops us from doing reckless things. It makes us think about why things may not work out as planned. Once again, this is not red hat where you can just express any old opinion or emotion. Black hat statements should be defensible. Why do you think it's not a good idea? Why do you think things are not done like that around here? Why do you think it's never been done in the past? Here's a simple, or not so simple, but an example technique from engineering that is used frequently and is very specific about black hatting. This is called design failure mode and effects analysis. In this case, in the first column on this chart, you would list whatever function that your device is intended to do, whatever your product's designed to do. And there are typically 4 failure modes that apply to just about every function. You ask yourself, why might it not function at all? Why might the function work sometimes, but sometimes not? Why might the function work, but not well enough? And the 4th failure mode, why does the function work, but it also produces something I don't want as a side effect? So quite an effective method to think about all the things that could go wrong with any particular product or function. All right, now's your chance. You've been dying to critique those green hat ideas that you didn't like. So I'll pause the presentation here. Again, we suggest cut this off. Typically, you'll find so much black hatting you're going to have to stop before everyone wants to. So a method that works well here, put one of those ideas from green hat on the table and begin to list all the reasons you can think of why it won't work or why it's a bad idea. So we'll pause for your discussion. Well, if you were a typical group, you would have found that a lot of discussion at this point, a lot of ideas about, or a lot of critique about why the ideas won't work. Finally, the final step, we go back to the blue hat, we conclude with it, and we use it as, again, the procedure hat, right? This is the procedure to discuss what are we going to do next? What are the next steps following this meeting? Now consider what you have in front of you. Under the blue hat now, the team can think about what data do we need to go get? We talked about facts and figures. What emotions can we build on and which ones should we avoid? We might need to design things to avoid certain negative responses to our product. What are our big picture opportunities when we think about Yellow Hat? Are there some things that we might be able to build on? Can we explore these further? And of course, the Green Hat list, the list of particular ideas that we might now have a catalog or keep a catalog on and start to develop these ideas as we go. And finally, the Black Hat, which problem do we need to design around? Which problems do we have to avoid? Let's not do something harmful or something that could be bad for our company. By this, you should have a way forward. But ultimately, despite all of the rigor, all of the analysis, all of the technical decision making, decisions come down to which hat? You may be surprised. It's the red hat. And think about this. If we had all the facts, if we had all the figures, if we had all the data, we really don't need a team of innovators. We would have a computer decide what the next innovation would be. And so when you're lacking the facts, when it's something new, when there's some risk associated, it really becomes a gut call, doesn't it? It gets down to our emotion. Do we have the wherewithal? Do we have the passion to follow this product? Are we certain we should go forward? And so, despite as much as we want to be technical and explicit, it comes down to red hat. Should we go forward? And what is our way forward? Well, this concludes our presentation on the 6 hats. We think once you learn this method and you've practiced it, no meeting will be the same for you ever again. It allows teams to take things one at a time. It removes confusion. We think it keeps team members on the same page. We think it depersonalizes the discussion and encourages team members to build each other up. Think parallel rather than arguing. Don't debate. Build. Help each other to move along. And if you practice, you'll come up with the right mix and a sequential use of hats that works best for your team. We think it's a way to explore the design space, generate great ideas, and design a way forward. Ultimately, you'll now have that map in hand. You've got uncharted territory, a new innovation in front of you, and now you have at least a roadmap to figure out what are the next steps we should take. So we hope you practice the 6 hats. Time to put your thinking cap on, get out there and innovate. I think you'll find once you've done the 6 hats, it becomes infectious amongst your team. Frequently, even outside of meetings, we'll hear people make comments and they'll say, hey, stop black hatting me. Let me get my idea out. So put on those hats, put those thinking caps on, build each other up, and we hope you find the 6 hats makes you a more effective innovator and entrepreneur. Our thanks to Smart Cycle Designs for producing this slide deck.